build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance.
Hello folks, thanks for coming on for our post-match show. We'll get started in just a wee second, give a few other folk a chance to join in. As always, we'd love to hear from you. The show, or these shows, the post-match show is never really about myself and Colin and John when he's on to give our reviews. We do that on a Sunday on the podcast. So really what we hear from all the Hibs fans. Basically just tell us what you think of the game. What you think of Lee Johnston's time so far. It's an embarrassing League Cup campaign. And then 5 points out of 15 in the league from our first 5 games. So probably quite a lot to pick through. The game today, but a disaster, I think. Performance nowhere near good enough. I think we would struggle to kind of pick out any player that gets pass marks for me anyway, in my view of it. The defence was comical, attack was toothless, the midfield was non-existent. It was pretty much a shambles from start to finish. Colin, you joined us there. What did you think of the game?
Oh, absolute shite. But I mean, we spoke about it last night, get the first goal, but we never do. We always go to these places, lose the first goal, and then play absolute shite after it.
Aye, dreadful.
Terrible.
Right, we've got a few folk lined up to speak. So I think the first person to come on was LG and Cowigan. So, you want to come on and tell us what you thought of today?
I mean, well, what hasn't already been said?
Well, loads. We've only just started.
I've only said one thing, mate.
Okay. We've covered it off already.
One thing I do want to say is, what has no one kind of done to upset Lee Johnston?
Well, Colin, you had a wee theory that you thought it might have been to do with him not tracking back in the Livingston game when we conceded.
Aye, well, it was just in reply to somebody in the group chat because they were saying it's similar to what LG's saying there, that why is he not playing? It's like, well, why is he not playing? Because this midfield's not tracking back, I think was a comment, and it's like, well, I think he got dropped because he wasn't tracking back. Mind, he just ran beside the boy in the Liverpool game, but then they're all out next week then, aren't they? there's nobody left. Get a development team in, because
there's plenty of development teams midfield next week.
Well, I've seen them up at Newton Grange. I wouldn't be rushing to be playing them in first team either, unfortunately.
We called like the boy Delafriere.
See,
from a game.
I know, but he played for the B team the other week against Brecon, and he was all right, didn't he? It wasn't like it was you would expect, like a first team player would dominate a game like that, and he didn't. Neither did Tate. So
yeah,
it's a lack of quality. I think we've got.
It's a worry, isn't it? I mean, you look at the team that finished. Don't know quite the team that finished because we brought on those sort of the daft minute to go subs. I think it was Scott Miller on Twitter. I don't know if Scott's listening in. Sort of pointed out that at one point in the second half there was none of the outfield players were new signings, which is crazy. You know, when we're chasing a game and you've had a summer, the volume of recruitment that we've done to be in the position that we're chasing the game second half and none of your new signings, other than the goalkeeper, are making onto the park. That's a worry. I'm going to bring in Leon, who I think was the next person on, and then I've got Kaiser and Craig, and then Nathan to come to. So Leon, do you want to bring yourself off mute and tell us what you thought?
Right, mate. You're a great and Bairn. Apologies. I thought it was rotten, absolutely rotten. Like everybody's saying, the defending was rank, terrible, schoolboy. There was nothing in the game for us that I felt we looked like. I mean, Johan should have had scored that chance, but apart from that, I didn't feel like every time we went into the box we even looked threatening. And yet again, the midfield just looked fucking it just wasn't there. You know what I mean? There was I felt like the midfield just wasn't there today. They've been pointless. Sorry, you could have started without a midfield, I think, centre midfield.
Mhm.
And I think the game would have went the same way, and we wouldn't have, nobody would have noticed. There's loads of players in there that are just only doing it. They're not working hard enough. It's either they're not working hard enough, or Lee Johnson's not good enough at getting the shape right and getting the formations right. And we're going to find out soon enough what it is, because if the performances keep going like this, they'll be on them. The fans will be on them in no time. Because sneaking draws against Rangers and Celtic and Hearts is, whatever they say, paper through the cracks. But this is the way the business end is, with the beating the crap. And I'm sorry, not even the crap, sorry. I wouldn't even say that with the crap, because I know the crap. But beating the teams that we've got a bigger budget at than what it's all about. I do care about the results. I do care, but I mean, the games about Rangers, Celtic and Hearts is like, that's, you get out there what you can, right? But the games against Livingston away, St Mirren away, going there and losing like the way we have was terrible.
It's criminal, isn't it?
See that though, right? You're right. But see, when we were beating the teams in the bottom 6, bottom 8, home and away, we weren't winning the big games and it wasn't good enough.
I know.
So as a fan base, we've got to kind of have a wee think about it here, because third place and beating these teams wasn't what we wanted.
No.
That's why we wanted the manager out and change. So what do we want? Like, we had good performances against Hearts and Rangers. We never won them, but like better performances than we've maybe got previously. So, like, what are we actually looking for? Beat everybody.
Beat everybody. But I
think it's about performances too, the way, because the day it was a 1-0, but I think as soon as they scored, the writing was on the wall. I think obviously, look, Johan had his chance, and if he'd scored that, which he should have, it could have turned out to be a completely different game. But they had about, how many chances did they have at the end when we were chasing it? And that could have been us chasing it at 1-0.
Leon,
and remember he said at the start. Remember he said in his interviews at the start, Johnson, Ken, we might lose some games 6-0 and things like that, and everybody went mental about it. But that could have happened today. Could have happened easily today. But it wouldn't have happened for Hibs being over-attacking, which I thought it was what he was talking about. I thought it was going to be gung-ho, can defenders defend, everybody attacking, going for it, losing games because we've went to attacking, try to press. It just seems to be similar to but I don't want to say similar to Maloney, but that could have been a Maloney performance today, every day, like easily.
Can you imagine if he'd come out at the start of the season, he came out and said, we might get beat, like take a few happenings. It'll not be because we're attacking, it will be because we're shite.
Aye, they should have said that. They'd been fucking correct. You know what I mean? We like to set the expectations up, and I'm all for that, selling season tickets and all that. But to be fair to him as well, like he has said that it might take a while for this team to click. It might getting the players in and that, but it shouldn't be taking the team time to click when it's fucking practically the same team as last season.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the problem. But they were shite last season.
I know. I totally. That was a last season performance, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was like watching it. It's like to quote Raymond, it's like Groundhog Day, isn't it? It was just like we 1-0 down. You went, oh fuck, this is going to be shite. You just knew it.
Sorry, Neil.
I was just saying, like, St Mirren have got new players and Livingston have got new players. That thing about needing time to click, fair enough, they do need time to click, but every team in the summer goes out and recruits new players. Like, you look at the squads in Scotland, there are very few teams that are the same team season to season. Like, St Mirren have had to change their manager as well and bring in new players. And they managed to look like they came what they were doing today. They had a game plan, stuck to it, and just frustrated us. And we had no answer to it at all. You can't just, like, Kevin Lee Johnson saying, and I'm always preaching patience and stuff like that. I fucking bore myself with it at times. But there does come a point when you go, well, come on, you've spent more than all these teams. How come they can do it? How come Stephen Robinson can get his team clicking in the space of a few weeks, get 3 wins on the bounce? And we we don't have 3 wins yet this season. Perhaps the League Cup and everything, it's fucking nonsense.
What's the point of all these late subs as well? Because that's going to I've seen someone mention it. I mean, it's going to start grinding on the fans. Like, I mean, the 87 minutes bringing two boys on. I get when you're pushing for a game, but that should have happened in the 70th minute. Do you know what I mean? What chance are you giving these players to get into the rhythm of the game and get up to speed? It's absolutely fucking pointless. You bring on somebody in the 89th minute if they're fucking 8 foot fucking tall and you're launching fucking balls at the box. You know what I mean? It's no, or you're trying to show up the defence with a couple of minutes to go. But going for a game and bringing somebody on with 3 minutes to the 90, it's fucking embarrassing. It's ridiculous. I mean, how many times has Laddie Bojan been brought on in the 90s or close to 90s? It's like, I think every time. It's like, what's the fucking point? What are you gaining for it?
Aye, what's he gaining from it? It's not like he's developing anything for those 3 minutes, is he?
No.
Right, Tuesday, I'm going to bring in Kaiser now. Kaiser,
How you doing, guys?
been better,
No great at all. So, started the shit show before we even get onto the pitch stuff. St Mirren had 2 gates open for the away fans, and anybody that had multiple tickets on there to scan in, as soon as they scanned their first one in, it wouldn't let their second one in. So it just caused absolute carnage. Loads of fans took a while to get into the game. Then we get into the game, which probably didn't want to do, but just pathetic performance. My wee boy quoted it perfectly when we came home. His mum said to him, "What you sad? There's no point in being sad." And he went, "Mum, I'm not sad. That was depressing." And do you know what? He's 9-year-old and he's fucking got and won. It was just such a shit performance. And you try and break it down and look at it and try and be like, obviously a new team, kind of a 10 new signings or the rest of it. But the stuff that we're seeing on the pitch, I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, like the Lofton Boz, like Ewan bombing in with that fucking crazy challenge, like just the standard of football on the pitch. We can't pass, we can't shoot, we can't cross, we can't fucking defend. Porto's jumping about like he's fucking Maldini. I'm telling you now, he's had one good season, no fucking Maldini. And I know you want to kind of hold back a wee bit, but listen, it's not going to be long till we're halfway through this league. We've not got enough points, and I'm not going to say for a second, I know it's premature to be going on about relegation battles and things like that, but we've not got an answer to clubs, and we've not got an answer to try to break down teams and that. And if it's going to be shell balls forward to guys that can't finish their fucking tee, never mind finish a ball, we're in a bit of bother. I think tactically things need to change, and I mean, I know we've got injuries, we've got players kind of rolling in and out and stuff, but we seem to just be going to the kind of a same routine. I don't know why Doy just getting a start. I know like a lot of folk have says, "Oh well, he's not getting the delivery at them," so that's maybe not too fair. He's a passenger. He's shite. I don't think he should be on. I think Bojan needs to get a run at the team. And as I watched Melkerson the day and all come on, he get put on, got drifted to the left. And you're going, what are we doing? And then Lewis Stevenson comes on when you're chasing the game, a guy that's not kicked a ball, who's kind of getting on in years. And then obviously the late subs. It's just frustrating. The football's frustrating, the tactics are frustrating, the formation's frustrating. It's no good. And then that fucking ref today as well. Like, I don't know, somebody was telling me that was his first game. It fucking showed, by the way. And that assistant boy who at the main stand, he couldn't wait to get involved with his wee fucking flag tape. All in all, a fucking really bad day at the office, and she can probably tell I'm fucking pissed off with her.
Kaiser, you were lucky you never had to listen to Kevin Harper on the commentary.
Bad eye.
Fucking hell.
I tell you, my favourite bit about Kevin Harper is somebody today, and I'm no one for taking the piss, because obviously, like, I can. We do something similar, and there'll be loads of stuff that we do that folk go, "Stop talking shite, your fannies," right? So I totally get it, right? I like to take the piss at folk, but he says at half time, he says it's not even a game there where you could say we're unlucky to be a goal down, but we're unlucky to be a goal down. You go, what?
Ultimately, we're a goal down, probably.
Ultimately, aye. So, I made no sense anyway. Kaiser, what was? So I never really noticed the referee today. Normally, like, I'm having a right go at the refs because
do you know what the big thing with the ref was? Right, it's this fucking word that we're going to keep saying over and over again. It's consistency. So, see, last week and the week before, if somebody got touched and they went down, it was a foul. That boy just waved it on. With Boyle, with Poto, they were contacted to get down, and you know, and it's things like that. It's you're going to fucking every game. But I've went to every game, and you're going, I wonder what the fucking rules are going to be this week, because they seem to change every fucking week with every new ref we get.
Aye, that's fair. Right, cheers, guys. I'm going to bring in Craig. If you'll bring yourself off mute, mate.
I think the day is just, it properly sums up where the club is the now. I mean, I didn't really want to talk too much about the game, because we're all got to say the same about the game. The game was shite, we were shite. But for us to still be sitting where we are in terms of the build-up, the make-up of the squad, and we're still lining up with the same midfield. I kind of that point was made earlier on, that last a point during the game today, all outfield players were here last season, and that group of players, I've got 2 managers sacked, and you could even say that the 2 spells under Gray as well, they never bothered their arse. This whole recruitment setup that we've got with Ian Gordon running it is, we're never going to do any better as long as the manager's lad is playing real life Football Manager, because that's ultimately what he's doing. He's not got any experience football recruitment, running a recruitment team. His dad's not got any experience running a football club, and that shows with his appointments. I don't know. I just think once again the fans have we've shelled out over 11,500 season tickets. Great numbers at St Mirren the day. Great numbers at St Johnstone the first game of the season. The 2 home crowds against Hearts and Rangers, which can typically be sellouts. And I just think we're getting shafted once again. We keep hearing about the hospitality and the improvements to HTC and the big screens and the LED boards and all that. You've got Ian Gordon having a wee paragraph at the end of every. I mean, I think we were both on the same call, Matty, when we questioned Ron about Ian, and we were told, "Oh no, Ian's doing a great job. He heads up the team." If the term's head of recruitment, you're the head of recruiting. Like, I don't understand how he can try and spin it the way that he does, and the way that he does spin it, it's clearly not working. It's basically like Hearts under Romanov, where he gave his family and his pals and all that jobs at high important. Ian Gordon's got, ultimately, apart from the first team manager, the most important job at the club, and we're signing young players for the Portuguese B League. We're signing boys on loan for fucking Gambian Premier League. I don't know. It's just the way the recruitment's set up is now is just an absolute joke, and we're not going to do any better as long as Ian. Because who's going to step up and tell Ron, by the way, this might not be working?
And that's a fair point about who does go and make that point. But I didn't have any problem with where we're signing players from. Where I have the problem is if you're signing players for all over, fucking play them. Like, what's the point in signing players? Like, Tavares is on the bench last 2 games now. Fair enough, he was shite against Livingston. And you think, well, maybe he needs a bit of time to settle into the league and all the rest of it. But if that's what you like, if that's your signing, if you're signing Bojang and you're signing Tavares and you're signing Kenna, or Miller at fullback, and then no playing them, there's a fucking point in signing them.
Yeah.
Like, it just. So either they're no good enough, and it could be the case that they're not good enough yet, and maybe they will come good, right? But I reckon how much time they're going to get, given the way that the season's going, or the signings are just because it's frustrating. It's like, is the signing policy all wrong, or is it the right policy and it's just not bedded in yet? I think it's hard to say, but you're spot on about who holds up the account, because if it's the owner's laddie, he's not like he's going to get ditched, is he?
No, and one of the umpteen executive, non-executive directors who have been on and off the gravy train over the last 10, 15, 20 years are going to go and say, "Oh no, Kim, what? It's not working." They're not going to risk being told, "Aye, away you go." Why would they? This is where, and this is the thing with Ben Kinsella as well. He's the CEO, so he's ultimately in charge of the football operations day to day. The football operations day to day aren't working, so a change has to be made. We laughed at Hearts often enough under Levine for the mess that they were in. Look at what they've done. They've brought in a proper head of recruitment, and they're now in fucking European group stages after being in the Championship, having just come up for the Championship this time last year. It's just no good enough, and I didn't see how it improves until fundamental changes made at the top end of the club.
Do you think a director of football would help at Hibs?
1,000,000%. Look at the way we were with Dempster and Matthew. Now you could argue that Matthew's spell at the end didn't end up too great, but when we had him, George Craig, Dempster, we won the cup, we came back up, we were a ball head away from finishing second in our first season back up. Like that structure has been shown to work. I mean, even look at the state that Man United are in. A club the size of that haven't got proper heads of recruitment and the right bodies in the recruitment areas, and they've been an absolute shit show for the past 5-10 years. The size of the club doesn't matter. It's having the right structure in place, and we've definitely not got the right structure.
The signs definitely aren't good. I'm always optimistic with Hibs and prepared to give the benefit of the doubt, but it's like your opinion changes as the evidence changes. You know, you can only kind of base it on the facts as they are, and the longer it goes, like kind of each week you kind of keep making excuses. The way I see it is like kind of the League Cup exit. You go, well, it's brand new team and all the rest of it. Kind of we were a wee bit unlucky here or there, but it was embarrassing that group we should have scooshed, and then we got knocked out. It's one of the two cups that we can win, two competitions that we can win, and then you lose to Livingston, and we have a big fucking debate about why that happens, and you lose to St Mirren, and you can't keep making excuses. At some point, you've got to go and say, right, something's fundamentally wrong here, and we need to go back and review it. Colin, I'll bring in here. What are your thoughts on all this?
I don't really disagree, but I mean, we've had the recruitment chat, haven't we? And then we got to tell he wasn't really. It was just more an admin role and all that. But are we? Some of the signings we were making, we were quite happy with, though. It's just how they're actually. Where does the blame start and end? Because some of the signings have been no bad, but they play like shite on the pitch, or they're on paper. I mean, so. I don't know, do we need to copy Hearts to get a recruitment director in football or no? I don't know. I don't know. I kind of jokingly said if we were to finish above them in the league, they would be wanting rid of their director of football. Kind of like a bit reactionary.
Aye, they would.
They'd want like Budgie's grandson or something in charge. Just because that's you would just copy it. It's like I don't know if it's the right thing or not. I have no idea. I think we do it. Just need to sign better players. I don't care how much the manager has input into it and how much is Ian Gordon is. I mean, don't know, no idea. But it's not very good. It's fucking rubbish to watch. And I think it was explained there by, I can't remember, Leon or Kaiser at the start, or was it LG, that we had the same team on. Last season's team on the pitch. It's like, we brought in 10 players, well, apart from the keeper, obviously. But we brought in 10 players and we've ended up with the same outfield players as last year. Starting with a midfield that everybody knows didn't work last year. That's what we started with today. Because we've got nobody else. We've got the laddie Kenner, he's out the picture for whatever reason. But if we'd never had him in, we've not got anybody else in the squad.
Aye. Pinning our hopes on McGuinness coming back, which appears to be what we've been doing for the last 2
years. Right? So we've signed 10 players and we've got one midfielder that doesn't get picked. Out of that 10. Where's that? I can't even think of the other fucking 9 now.
Right, well, Chabraya started, right? Yeah, so Marshall started, Chabraya started, Rocky's injured, Miller was on the bench, Kenner was on the bench, Tavares was on the bench, McGeady's injured. Who else was
Bojan and
Bojan on the bench. Yuan started. Boyle started.
Aye, Boyle's one as well. So a few did start. But
aye. All right, I'm going to bring in Nathan. Nathan, thanks for waiting. What was you wanting to say? You want to bring yourself up?
It was all good. I thought coming off the back of that signing talk, I don't know why we're signing people for Rainbow FC to not even play them. He's on loan.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. We need at least 2 new centre halves. I'm not hearing any links with centre halves right now, and I think we do need another midfielder.
Do you think the club's hand will be forced a wee bit for the centre half with Rocky getting injured?
Well, yeah, definitely. It's just like the Dabrowski injury.
Aye.
We needed a goalie. Got one in straight away. So now we're needing a centre back. We were needing one before. So now it's time to see if the club will actually put some money into the team.
Looks like they're going to have to. Did anybody in the team get pass marks for you today?
I never seen the game. I was had my own game, but from what I've heard, probably no one.
No, I think you're right. You didn't really see it, mate, because that's fucking terrible. You're right.
I heard Ellie Ewan was should have got sent off.
He was lucky not for the second yellow. He was lucky not to get a second yellow, I think. Not as bad as the boy at Rangers. I think you saw that one against Ross County today.
Oh, I've seen that. 15 minutes in.
Aye, Ewan's wasn't quite as bad as that. You can see why the referee didn't book him. But I think if he had been on a booking already, he would definitely have got one.
I see. I don't know. Is it with the owner talk? I would say Ron Gordon's trying to make us look like a good club, but not a good team, in my opinion.
Aye, I get what you mean there. So, because this is like it's a good point because off the field, and the thing is right, and this is where I get conflicted with a wee bit. It's off the field, everything looks like it's going in the right direction, and the whole point of doing all that stuff is it gives you more money to spend on the team on the park, and I think he has spent more money on the team on the park, but it's no money well spent on the evidence that we've got just now. So you're right. I think the club looks brilliant now, but it'll not look brilliant if we're bottom 6 again.
Aye, definitely. Signed Tavares, who's on the bench today. Miller, who they both don't look great, and I can understand why they're on the bench. But again, why sign them?
What do you think Lee Johnson's thinking about it all right now?
I like how he plays. It's just some of the decisions and who to put in the team is questionable for me.
What do you think of all that, Colin?
I mean, is it questionable because who else is there? You know what I mean? It's like Tavares isn't shown much, Miller's not shown much. So I can see why he picked the team he did, really, other than maybe Kenna, that you would think, well, that would freshen it up a bit, but there's some reason he's not playing. But other than that, you look at it and you go, who are you picking ahead of the team that started? That's the worrying thing for me. Because I think before the game, when you saw the team, you went, maybe we went Wise Dodge starting ahead of Melkerson, or something like that. But it's like you're talking 1-2 positions that Wise Kenna and no playing ahead of any referee, and Wise Dodge playing ahead of Melkerson. That's about it. That's the contentious points, and that's the concern for me.
I'd say Henderson probably should have started as well today.
Ahead of any of the midfield, presumably.
Well, any of that midfield.
Yeah.
Right, thanks very much, Nathan. Leon's your hand up. Leon, you want to come back in? And again, just if anybody else wants to get a point of view, just hit the wee request button. We'll add you as a speaker and get to you as quickly as we can. Leon?
Just a quick point about that. I was just, I mean, let's be honest, I think recruitment's going nowhere to hide. If we get to a stage that these players have been brought in and they're getting played, and then that's, for me, a good manager just telling you that these guys have been brought on are good enough. We can all talk about Oyang and Jair and all these and everybody that's not getting on and Miller. But if the manager's not picking them, there's a reason. In the day, it's his job on the line. So this is where we can really, really question the recruitment. That if I've went through all this fucking this time and effort and nonsense fucking media about these players and development and that. But if they're not fucking, if they didn't do it, then what's happening with this money? Eh?
What about those? The manager's been clear, and the club have been clear. The manager's part of that transfer decision, so it's not like he's got players there that he's not wanted. In fact, when he was talking about his wee app, I mean, it makes me sound like I'm trying to patronise him, but he was talking about the app that he's made in through the week. He referenced how it helped him sign Tavares because Tavares could show him how he wanted to play, but also Tavares knew that he'd try to sign him at one of his previous clubs. So there's evidence there that it's not just the recruitment team that's making it's not just Ian Gordon. So surely Lee Johnson can't just wash his hands at it and say, well, the recruitment's not my fault.
Aye, that's fair. It's definite. At the end of the day, if he's 100% some of these players in on his judgment, then aye. Because you're right. I remember now that you mentioned it, about how he had been watched, and everybody was talking about how this lad has been watched all over Europe for different clubs, and was very lucky to get him. Blah blah blah. And if that is the case, why is he not playing him? Or has he been fucking? Has he been duped into? Has he been fucking sent YouTube fucking clips and DVDs? Check this boy, these step overs. You know what I mean? And been done a fucking stinker.
The constant is, though, I mean, we've had 3 managers now that we've all been moaning about recruitment, so the constant's the recruitment. But is it 3 managers that have had enough input, or have had 3 managers that haven't been very good at picking them, or is it the recruitment team, or is it a bit of both in all 3? You know what I mean? It's like there's different. So it's just it's a common.
When can we start looking at it? Like you say, you're spawned, because when can we just be like, well, look, you're a fucking manager, coach, make them better, make them a good side. Again, it's when we're not doing the basics. Like the day, you could have argued that some of the basics we just never done again, and that's down to the coach, that's down to the manager, and what's happening on the training field. You know what I mean?
Aye. Somebody said that actually, Matthew, in the comments, that poor passing, over hitting it, it's basic stuff. It was Brunswick Bill actually that says it. It's true. It was just crap, and it's the same as last year. And that is one thing that I can't remember. It might have been John on one of the shows before, saying, why does a manager come in and always just say, right, I need my own players in? How can they not just like coach the players that are there to be better?
Aye, just make them better
as well. You know, like you're going to want their own bodies in as well, but surely they can take players that and make them better. Like that must be part of the job, surely.
I think so.
How many times do managers come in and they've got a transfer window, getting to save a club for going down and things like that, you know, and that's when they've got to make the team work and they've got to get it right. You can't just keep bringing in fucking players all the time. At the end of the day, we brought in 10 players now. We can have a question about their ability and all that, but the basis of that squad, that squad, I reckon, 9 of the players walk into that same team for me, and get at least. So why is that? Why are we being outperformed and outfought? It's the same with Livingston. Livingston we give a right arm for half our budget. Again, and we talk about budgets all the time, with Rangers and Celtic and that, and Hertz and Aberdeen above us. But at the end of the day, we should be fucking. And again, it's not going down to this. Oh, we're a bigger club. We should be trunching these teams, but we should be out competing them, out fighting them. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, there's no excuse not to outfight them. I think that's the one thing that I find hard to forgive for a team is when you lose a game because you've not worked as hard as the opposition. It's like that doesn't come down to skill. It doesn't come down to how good a player you are or anything like that. It just comes down to fucking how hard you work. It's like attitude.
We've spoken about that before as well, though. We've had that players leave to go to the old firm teams, and one of the first things they say is, "Oh, the training's much harder and more intensity and that." And we'd always say, "Surely that's the one thing we can fucking do. The players might be better here, but like we can have intensive training and work hard in the training. Why do they need to go there to learn that's what you need to do?" And it's like that again. It's like, well, how is it just us? Like, what's the attitude and the mentality? Kind of like that's what I was saying after the Livingston game. We were all blame the pitch, blame this, surroundings and all that, and you're like, we've just fucking done it again. Like, never learn. There wasn't even a plastic pitch today to fucking blame.
Like Kaiser, you got your hand up. I'll bring you in, and then if if we've got anybody else who want to speak, if you hit the wee request button, we'll bring in. Other than that, we'll go to the comments, Colin, and rattle through them before we wrap up. So, Kaiser, you got your hand up, mate? You want to come in?
I think, see, like everything we're talking about now, defence, midfield and that, see if we can actually get some fucking shots on target and actually get some goals. All that's forgotten about. Everything's, all that, see everything we're talking about now, trying to dissect it, recruitment, all that goes out the window. It just comes down to the fact that, or as far as I can see it, and I'm no fucking kind of a football affiliated or that, I've never worked in that kind of a field of my profession, but like it's basic maths. Like, what's your conversion rate going to be between how many times you're shooting to how many times you're shooting on target? And if you're, see, like when you look at that and on a purely numbers game, you're going, right, you're taking 14 shots, you're getting 3 or 4 of them on target. He needs to do something with the strikers, and he needs to do something differently to try and get a goal. And then see, once we get goals, we'll win games, and then we stop talking and try to break down the whole squad for top to bottom and going on about recruitment and that. It's literally we need a forward that can score goals. That's what we need at Hibs now. We've got frailties in midfield and defence, but we're not losing games by big. We're not losing the games by 4 goals, 3 goals.
Mm-hmm.
We're losing games by 1 goal either end. Do you know what I mean? It's no. So the best way to counter that, you get somebody on the pitch can fucking score goals. Surely.
We're almost back to the argument about when Jack Ross was here: is take Boyle at the game and we're not going to score, and that's what it was like today. Because he wasn't really involved much until I saw it, and we didn't look like scoring. That's also William Todd said that as well. That were similar. How quickly we ran out of ideas, crossing for 40 yards. St Mirren defended aggressively, wanted it more than we did. And if you discount the games against Old Firm, we've got 4 points for 12. I think is he mean in Hearts there as well? No. He's only played one Old Firm team, but I mean, it's just the same old shite, eh? Like,
there was somebody says, Colin, on Twitter, and I've no fact checked it, right? But Bournemouth played Liverpool today, got scattered 9-0. Was it Bournemouth that played them? Sorry, if you were trying to avoid the score from match of the day, and I've just fucked it for you. Sorry about that.
I seen it 7. I seen it was 7. I didn't realise it went on and got.
It went to 9, but apparently Bournemouth had more shots on target than Hibs did today, which is fucking mental.
Joe Newell, keeper saved it.
I think that was it. Ewan had one that was blocked. I think that was going to go on target, and then obviously it was off target with his other one. But I think we had one.
A shocker, wasn't it? Absolute shocker.
I mean, how'd you miss that? I'd fancy myself to score that one and get on the wrong side of 40. So
almost just needed to let a hit off him. And he straight out came out and straight. That's shocking.
Nathan, you had your hand up. You want to come back in?
Just got a question. Where do we even see? What do we see as us getting this season? Because in a group chat, I've seen people thinking Lee Johnson will get sacked by Christmas and whatnot. So, what's your thoughts on that?
Colin, you want to go first? Good question.
I don't know if they'll sack him as quickly this time, just for their own reputation, as much as anything else. I think he'll get the season. I don't think we're at the May unless he's got a drastic turnaround. And when's the window? Is it like this week? It'll be Wednesday or something, is it?
Thursday, I think. Thursday was the last day, I think.
Thursday's the 31st, isn't it? So must be then. Unless we get about fucking 4 centre-halves in, a striker that can score goals and one midfielder that can create and shoot, I think we're going to have a very good season. So I think it's I don't have any confidence in any of the defenders now. Rocky being probably the best one we've got now, and he's out for 2 months. It's just like we needed one centre half, but I'm not sure. I think we need 2 that's got to start.
Aye, I think we need 2 in. What we almost need is some of these development players that have come in to not be in that development team for the full season.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? Like if they maybe do the first half of the season and then kind of are ready for the first team to make an impact for the second half of the season. But otherwise, we're going to get to the January window and we're going to be talking about signing another 5 or 6 players in January, which is notoriously difficult. So I think I agree with you that I'd like to see Johnson, unless it's an absolute catastrophe, I'd like to see Johnson get the time, because I think that's the other problem with Hibs, is that we're too quick to get rid of managers, and then we didn't get that stability and continuity, and that we suffer as a result of it. So I would think there's a case there to be made for sticking with them, and unless it is a proper disaster. Right, but Lee coming in. Lee, it'll take a wee second to connect. Lee, can you hear me? You can come in now.
Hi mate, can you hear me? Yeah.
I hear you. Right.
Aye, not bad, mate, not bad. Colin's absolutely right. We've got a couple of days, and by the way, it's not often I agree with Colin. But basically, the next 4 days, next 5 days, spot on. We need a proper nine. We need a creative midfielder, and we need two centre backs, especially with Rocky being out for a considerable amount of time. But I think the other thing that maybe puts a wee bit pressure on Lee Johnson, and this might come for higher up as well, is that the coefficient obviously has put the league in quite a decent position next season for European qualification. And if I understand it, stood it correctly for what I read this morning, is that if you finish third, you're guaranteed Europa group stage. Finish fourth, you're guaranteed conference stage football, and if you're finished fifth, you go into a qualification for Europa group stage football. So from that perspective, you've got two really good opportunities to get really straight into group stage football this year. And I think if we keep on going the way we're going, unfortunately for the manager, he's going to be under the cosh for the board and for higher up. So I think that even puts a wee bit of honest pressure on the club to say, right, okay, what can we get in the next few days that is going to help us try and get up the table? Because surely the carrot would be third and fourth, and then you've got group stage football next year.
Mm-hmm. Spot on. I mean, that's the opportunity we've got, isn't it? And if ever there's a time to do the speculate to accumulate thing, it's now, isn't it?
Well, I think so, because if you look at Aberdeen's recruitment, and I hate us comparing with Aberdeen given all the shite we've had over them over the last couple of years, but they've went on kind of a similar recruitment as what we have, Matty. They signed Duke for they signed a laddie for the same team as Tavares, but he's making a difference. He's winning Aberdeen penalties, he's strong, he's got good physical, he's scoring goals. The number 9 that they've signed, he's scoring goals, albeit a couple of them have been penalties, but a couple of them haven't been. Do you know what I mean? But these are the kind of the same calibre of signings that we've kind of been doing as well. Obviously, they're bringing a midfielder for the same place as a striker. So again, their recruitment has kind of been similar to ours, but it seems to be clicking for them. They're scoring goals, albeit obviously they've had 2 games against 10 men, but they're scoring goals. They're creating chances. And that's the difference. And obviously that's just something, unfortunately for us, we're just not doing. And it's so fucking frustrating.
Have Aberdeen got a director of football?
They do,
aye. That's interesting.
Boys, Scott Miller's tweeted in a couple of messages here. I've not heard the interview yet, but I think He's saying Johnson calling out the club again, saying we need quality players now. He's quoted him here. We've got to look deep at what we can do to turn it quickly. Be organised, also upgrade the quality, and that isn't easy. Good players make good decisions. If for whatever reason we didn't have enough good decision makers on the pitch today, so it's starting to turn on the players, which you can understand really, because you're turning that right.
But that's it's not even that subtle a fucking statement there, is it?
No,
really.
No.
What do you make of that, Colin?
Well, I can understand why he's doing it. I mean, he's got to feel the pressure. He's got to feel the pressure. He knows there's only half a week left till he can get anybody in. We've waited the whole fucking winter. We've waited about 2.5 seasons for a centre half. We're now down to the last 4 days. We're toiling. He's not asking the players to go out and play like that. No fucking way. He needs them to take a bit of responsibility. We've got enough senior players in that squad now. Like, I know we talk about we're a young team and all that, but we've got look down the spine of the team. You've got Marshall, Pochus, Hanlon, Newell, Deutsch. These are experienced players that shouldn't need too much to motivate them. Really, they know what's what. Like, they've been a bit of it, and they keep turning out shite. Boyle, another one. You know what I mean? We've got plenty of experience in the team. As much as we're a young squad, an average age that we go on about and all that, we've got enough experience there to no turn out shite like that again and again and again. Every away game to one of these teams and we'd turn out a performance like that. I can't remember the last time we didn't turn out a performance like that against a team like St Mirren or Livingston or whoever.
Aye, spot on. What else have we got in the messages, Colin? And then we'll wrap up unless anybody else
Got a
wants to
couple of
speak.
infiltrators, so I'm just going to tell them to fuck off and not read them out. So, Charlie, it's Legends of 73, it's actually my brother-in-law. Lack of fight and desire to win, worst I've seen in years. He says it every time we get beat to one of these teams. It was worse since the last time. LG and Kev, how key could the World Cup be for us coming back at the time? It does, because mid-November to December, seeing McGuinness, Nisbet and others back would basically feel like new signings. Leo Fox, Hibs are quite annoying, eh? That team was far too similar to last season. The midfield, the JDH, Newell and Campbell's proven time and time again it doesn't work. Toothless. Mark McKenzie, how shite was that, by the way? William Todd again, bottom 6 Jack Ross, bottom 6 Sean Maloney, bottom 6 Lee Johnson, nothing's changed. And Nathan, who was on earlier, do we sell Portlo now and bank in the money, or do we let his contract run down and get nothing?
Aye. What we do.
I think the thing is, he's in his last 6 months anyway, he's clearly letting it run down. If he was to be sold, I wouldn't be that upset, but I would be wanting somebody to replace him. And we've shown that we can't get a centre half in, so we can't let him go until we get somebody in first. Two in before he goes. Or 3.
2 or 3.
All centre halves.
What a shambles.
Mess. Absolute mess.
Aye. Right, we'll call it a night there. That's 2:15. Thanks very much, everybody who came on. Thanks to everybody who sent messages in or contributed. Really good discussion there. It will be recorded and we'll share it on our podcast players for folk who missed it as well. So thanks for coming on. Get involved with more of them. We'll be back on what they call on Tuesday. We did the post episode one. Tuesday, so if you want to come in, have a listen to Longbangers on Monday. Join us on Tuesday. Tell us what you think of the episode. Anything else that's going on with Hibs. I can't imagine we'll do anything for the transfer window, but you never know.
Say them on tonight. I think I've rattled it off now. So,
we've got one last. Charlie's come in just at the end here. I'll just let them connect. And Charlie, you there? You want to speak? Charlie, you there?
He's on mute.
Aye. It's maybe going quiet, or we can that happen.
Hello. Hi guys.
Hello Charlie.
I'm alright, just off the bus after watching the most pitiful, woeful, embarrassing Hibs performance I've ever seen in a long time. And even the manager looked embarrassed coming on the park to say, sorry guys, I've never heard the Hibs support boo a Hibs team like that in my life. Not one player in that team deserved anything like that game today. That was awful.
Was it worse than the booing at Livy that time when Jack Ross got sacked?
Definitely. That was Colin. They couldn't even string a pass together. Under-hitting passes, over-hitting passes. It was murder. The boy Miller came on and looked like a rabbit in the headlights. Awful. Absolute awful. Paul Hanlon, what? Right, the fullbacks lost the ball for the goal, right? But why is Paul Hanlon not going out to shut the cross? He's standing there. Awful. And we've discussed Ryan Porteous the last few weeks when we were sitting in the West Stand. The guy thinks and somebody put on earlier on, he thinks he's Maldini. Fucking absolutely garbage. Wherever you want to go, I'll drive him. That's how bad it is now. I'll get him out the club because he's not good enough. He's not good enough now.
Well, you've definitely changed your opinion there. Because last year we were having arguments about it.
Yeah, but he's got too big for himself.
Yeah.
That's the problem. His head is far too big. And weak as hell. And Big Doisy, playing.
Aye, I mean, the kind of Doidge is getting a start now. Porteous, like, had one of his Presley flops in the first half. Him and when they should be dealing with the ball, and it's like you're never getting a free kick for that, right? Because folk can you do it now?
He's so telegraphed. He looked over his shoulder about 3 times to see where the boy was. He didn't even wait for the touch. He was looking for it.
And Joe Newell had the shot, and that's Carson had one save to make. One save, that was it. And it was a good shot, we know, but it was just garbage, absolutely garbage. And there's over 1,400 Hibs fans there, and it was just embarrassing. Ruins your Saturday again.
Aye. Right, Nathan, you put your hand up there, so just before we wrap up then, thanks Charlie.
No, Bobby.
Nathan, you want to say it, and then we'll wrap up.
Just a quick question. Since it's Thursday the window shuts. Why? If we do sell Poto, who do we get in? With probably needing 2 or 3 at least if Poto did go.
Aye, well, we already needed one, right? And Rocky's got injured,
Aye.
so we need 2. If we sell Porteous, we need 3. That's how Mama.
That's what I mean.
Aye.
So who is it we get in straight away?
Aye, absolutely. That's the problem, eh? This is the problem with sitting on it for 18 months. We've all known
Aye,
there's been
we've left it far too late.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there must be like a German third division centre half kicking about, kind of like a 19-year-old somewhere. It's just ripe for us. Aye. Right. Good question. We'll maybe say. Well, I was going to say we'll maybe take that away, Nathan, and try to scour the leagues and see who we could suggest as a sign-on for us before we do the podcast tomorrow's night. But I'll be honest, there's virtually no chance of us putting that amount of effort into.
No chance. No. We could probably just go and say, see these teams that keep clean sheets. These teams that keep clean sheets against us. Let's just get a couple of them in. Aye.
Let's go and read St Mirren and Livingston and just get their ones. Right, thanks for tuning in, folks. Enjoy the rest of your weekend if you can, and we'll catch you all later on.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink